So this Thursday we have got the new moon in Gemini, and there's a Venus-Saturn clash, and this kind of combination of the two is drawing attention to your love life and your finances. So this week I have been doing some of my Moonology diary, and Yasmin Boland set an exercise, journaling exercise, and it was this. It says, this is for love. Think about all your partners, unrequited loves, and people that you flicked away. What have you learned? Then pick an oracle card. What does that message say to you, and how can it be applied to the lessons you've learnt in love? Now, this is very interesting for me because I am on a complete dating break. I feel it's part of my spiritual awakening, my spiritual journey, that I want to focus on me. I've been doing a lot of work on kind of self-love over the last couple of years and dating myself and all this kind of stuff. And like I've got to this point where I am genuinely really, really happy on my own. Not I'm okay on my own. Like I love being on my own, which worries me slightly because I think I might stay there for life. But it was interesting. So when I read this exercise, I thought, I don't want to do this. I thought, why don't I want to do this? That's really interesting. Now, you know, people that have been following me, you know that I'm, as well as all my Reiki and holistic stuff, I'm also a psychologist. So I love to overanalyze everything. So I was like, oh, why don't you want to do it? It pulled on something in me, and I thought, right, I've got to do it then. So I thought I'd share with you what I wrote. So I started with, put my tea down, I started with thinking about the relationships I've had, and I ended up writing about 7 different people. It's like, blimey, love. Anyway, so there's been 7 relationships of significance in my life, and you look at the first 3 before number 4, which was my husband. The first 3, and there is a theme of toxicity. Okay, they were all men who didn't treat me well, and they weren't abusive. They just were a bit controlling, a bit unkind, a bit not what you would want for a relationship. And when I look back on those, you know, the first one started when I was 18, and that was a 5-year relationship. And then there was quite a short, sort of like a rebound one in between. And then another one that was a 6-year relationship when I was about 23. So they were all quite close. They were quite significant relationships. But the theme was the same. And they say, don't they, that you will keep repeating the same patterns until you learn. And if I look at the rebound one is a bit insignificant, but if I look at the 2 main relationships there, they're the same. Now, the first guy was very charming, but he was very jealous, and he was quite needy, and he used me, you know, for money and things like that. It wasn't an equal, balanced relationship. And the second one was neglectful. You know, he would just walk past me and not acknowledge me when he came home, and it was, you know, they were both like not great, and in fact both ended up cheating on me. And there's a lesson here. This is a lesson I've learnt, Yasmin, right, from these relationships, is that my standards were really low. I put up with a lot of crap, and I hung on in there. Even though I wasn't happy and I wanted to leave, I didn't. And it was to do with habit and routine, and it was to do with I don't know, I don't think it was fear of being alone, because I liked being single and being alone, but it was there was an element of not wanting to cause a big scene. So I think that's really interesting. Then it was my husband, and I'm not going to talk about my husband because those who have followed me for a while will know it was a very unusual relationship, and he has now passed away. So I'm not going to talk about that one. But then we go after that. Now things change, because my marriage was not a healthy marriage. Okay, but it was the end of that cycle, that pattern of toxicity. Because after that, I had a really good relationship. Then I had a bit of a weird reboundy one again, and then another really good relationship. And these two men really raised my standards. And I learned that you can be treated with respect, and like, it's like it was a different world for me. Now those relationships ended. The first one I didn't want to end, but it did. And the second one, I ended because I wanted to focus on me and my journey. But there's a real like cut off between pre-marriage and post-marriage relationships. And I really think my marriage nearly killed me. And it they say you will repeat the same patterns until you learn. And that learned me. Then I looked at my unrequited love. Now, a lot of my unrequited love is like online dating stuff and being rejected very early on. And it's really, so I've been online dating on and off for the past, 4 years. And it's really highlighted my core wounds. And I've, through my sort of shadow work and stuff, I've identified that I've got a real fear of rejection, and it's that not being chosen, not good enough. So I've been working a lot on that core wound. I'm still working on it. And then people I've turned down, well, they would generally be the nice guys. And there'd be some sort of sense in me that I could do better. But I think if you unpick it, it's probably not that. It's probably something to do with my sense of self-worth, and it's almost like projection, and not thinking that I'm worthy of someone that good. That's what I think. That's my own psychoanalysis of myself. So lessons learned. There's a history of low self-esteem, of actually not knowing what a healthy relationship is. And I'm very passionate about things like this. You've seen some of my other posts recently about like what we're teaching our children in school, and why aren't we teaching teenagers what a healthy relationship looks like? That is so much more important than algebra. Sorry. And I'm a mathematician as well, so I'm not dissing maths, but come on. So yeah, there's things around myself. I don't know why, but it is these kind of core wounds and this fear of rejection and not being good enough. And I've definitely been working on that. So then I pulled my angel cards. Sorry, this is a long vlog, isn't it? If you're still there, well done. And these are the cards I got. Separation and keep going. And I thought that is so relevant. Separation, this is where I am. I'm separating, I'm isolating myself, I'm hermiting. This is time for me. And keep going. Use the energy of any disappointments any disappointments to fuel your creative project with authentic emotion. Well, that's what I'm doing. My authentic project is me at the moment. So anyway, that was quite a fun little exercise. I've got to do the same with finances now. So have a go if you want to. Have a little reflect back on your love life to date, and see what lessons are there. It's quite scary. Like when you see these patterns emerging, you're like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't feel bad. I feel okay. I feel good. So that's the vlog this week. Have a lovely new moon. I'm going to be doing some manifesting this week because it's a really good one for manifesting money. So watch this space. I will be rich by this time next week. Have a lovely weekend. I'll see you soon.